So we'll say Nershellus and Taffy. You guys are probably some of the other party members are kind of hanging around. You guys are currently in the like sitting area in the Carannula estate. There's like a couple of sofas. You know, Ari was probably playing cards with Nershellus in here at one point the other day. These twos were eaten. It's fine. And it's quiet. You guys are all kind of just relaxing. You might have just finished your dinner, beautiful dinner that was served by you, Lauren. Yeah, now you just have some kind of free time to sit and chat with one another. Maybe get a little caught up on your day.
Okay. Can I start?
Yes.
Bernard, I am so sorry.
Oh boy.
So, Nershellus is seated, if it's alright, Bernard, probably a few spaces beside Taffy, like not in touching distance.
Okay.
On one of the big cushioned sofas. And he's got his hands together, like very, very clearly like slumped onto the couch, very, very comfortable. But rotating like his ring around his good hand and just sort of looking at Taffy in this sort of weird way that says he wants to say something, but knows he probably shouldn't. And after losing the mental debate of should I say it or should I not, he sort of just leans forward, kind of toward Taffy, and he just says, "So what exactly had to happen to make you?"
Oh my god!
It's just Taffy's sitting there like, because he can tell that Nars wants to say something, but he's just gonna wait. He's like, oh my, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be hilarious. So he just kind of leaning back in his chair, and then Nars leans forward and his little kitty grin widens, and then he's like, what? The question was asked, and he like kind of jolts a little bit, like he wasn't prepared. He was not prepared for that, and so he kind of stumbles and he says, like, as a person, or like my career path, or
I mean, you're a cat person, like.
Yes.
I just mean, like, was one of your parents a human and the other one a cat? Like, how did this happen?
I'm guessing you haven't really hung out with a lot of tabaxi, have you?
I've hung out with a mind flayer.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's actually really kind of interesting. Story for another time. But the I mean, I'm part of a species called the tabaxi.
Yes, I gathered that much.
Yes, and both of my parents were also cat people.
Okay, but like they just were born that way?
Yeah, kind of like, and he kind of thinks for a second. Like how Arca's is a bird person, right? Well, I'm sure Arca's, or at least one of Arca's parents, was also a bird person.
I'm just saying, you know how I'm half human?
Mm-hmm. That's, I mean, I'm not half tabaxi or anything, so both my parents
You're not half human.
Correct, I am not half human. The tabaxi just have human features.
So then, I mean, that means you knew both of your parents, right?
Ooh.
Oh. I love that this is a good trauma session, trauma bonding.
I just walked right into that.
It just, it looked like you just stabbed Taffy in the heart. he's like, well, I can't say that I really knew them, at least for very long. But I do know they were both tabaxi. He's like trying to recover.
Nershellus will kind of look him up and down for a minute. He's going through the decision of do I try to make it better, or do I let it happen? And if it makes you feel better, I never met my dad.
Oh, and I can kind of relate. He kind of shifts around in his chair. It's always real rough. Sorry about that.
You're fine. So, do you have parents or?
Oh my god.
Ooh. All right, so he's his tail's kind of flipping around. He's now like kind of glancing off to the side, right? No longer like it's kind of hard for him to make eye contact. He's like, I do have a dad. He's old Three Whiskers. He kind of recovers himself, straightens back up. Yeah, old Three Whiskers. He runs the Padlock Guild. He had adopted me when I was very young. Wonderful old man. I really do my best to make him proud, that sort of thing.
Oh, he just sort of lets it stand at for a minute.
Oh.
So, you guys are close then.
Yeah, as close as I'm sure that a son and their father could be. We get along.
Raises an eyebrow.
Oh my god.
He took care of me, took me in. He took care of me. We're on good relationship, that sort of thing. He's halfway across the world at the moment, but I hope I do my best not to disappoint him. A long time ago, my parents passed away. I ended up having to, and he kind of like wipes his brow, fend for myself there for a little while before I was found by old man Three Whiskers. Then he adopted me as it were.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Oh, sure thing.
It's just something that's been bothering me. You've already told me. I talked about it earlier. Are you my friend?
He kind of chuckles like, of course I'm your friend. Friends don't travel halfway across the continent with or not friends don't travel halfway across the continent. Of course we have to be friends.
Oh. Okay. Then I guess I'll try to be your friend too.
Well, thank you. I mean, you already are, Nars. You don't have to worry about trying too hard.
Don't say it like that.
What do you mean? Listen, when we're in combat, we gotta trust each other, right? You watch my back, I watch yours.
She'll notice Yulia, like, sort of over wherever Yulia is, writing a little letter, and I think she's gonna walk over and not necessarily peering over Yulia's shoulder, but just sort of like kind of approaching and like just like a friendly, like, oh, what you got going on there? We'll kind of just like clear her throat and say, who are you writing to?
Yulia will. They're just kind of writing. They're very focused. They kind of have a unusually somber expression writing this letter. And immediately when they hear Anna of Tove coughing and look up and see it's Anna of Tove. Names, what are they? Then the smile kind of flips on, just the one that they like to use for pleasantries, and but you can kind of see it's kind of halfway, but being somber and trying to have the energy to hold up the smile, and they'll kind of say, well, with everything that's been happening here, they kind of just like stumble on the words on like trying to figure out how to say it, and they'll just kind of go, I have friends here who took me in when I kind of left, and they helped me a lot. And I'm kind of worried now, my being back here and with everything happening, that I'm putting them in danger. So I kind of wanted to go back and talk to them and maybe enlist Taffy to secure their home for them, just so for my peace of mind, that they feel a little safe. But then I started thinking that's probably going to make it worse. So if I feel brave enough to do it, then I'll do it. But otherwise, they'll hold up the letter. I'm just writing out everything that's happening so that they can be aware, and specifically with instructions to burn this afterwards, because I feel bad, and I want to make sure that nothing happens to them if I can help it.
I kind of feel in some ways like maybe because like, you know, you said that you wanted to go to Valgard and like head out in the world to like write your own story, and part of me feels that way too, but I just wonder, you know, what made you decide to like take that step, you know, to jump into, you know, like the unknown.
Yulia's expression warms, and you could tell that they're like, this is something that they're comfortable talking with. So they'll just kind of lean into the couch, and the smile isn't like one of like trying to keep up a performance. It's actually one of like, they're thinking of good things. And they'll just kind of start with, I basically grew up in a tavern. My parents were performers. My dad actually taught me how to play the lyre, and my mom taught me to sing. And just my whole life, I've been surrounded by adventurers, of people just coming and going from pretty much everywhere. And just the more I heard their stories, the more I just wanted to make my own. And well, and then they kind of like, their face kind of like sours a little bit, but my family thought it was kind of unrealistic. Well, not unrealistic, but they were just worried because, you know, anything can happen when you're out here. But I was too stubborn for my own good, and I just really wanted to get out there and see what there was. I wanted to be the one to tell stories someday.
And Tova just sort of nod and think for a moment before she sort of turns to look at Yulia and says, At the tavern that you grew up in, was there a lot of like dancing?
People were drunk enough, yeah. there would be dancing. Not very good dancing. Sometimes very good ones. But mostly not.
It's like, it depended on how long the alcohol was out.
Exactly.
And Tove sort of laughs, and she's like, you know, something I miss about Drake Mound is once a month, and like, well, it would happen on feast days, but then sometimes on just random days where we wanted, you know, where everybody like wanted to get together, like we would have these like, you know, little like get-togethers in the middle of town, and you know, there'd be like lots of food and like dancing, and I've really been missing like that community aspect. So I imagine like growing up in a tavern where you just had people like coming and going and and just sort of like, I mean, I would imagine it was a nice atmosphere. It was probably like a kind of like a little party every day.
And they'll nod in agreement, just like, yeah, it would. That was basically that every day.
Maybe we should, like throw a little like party sometime, just to boost morale.
Like with just our group?
Well, I mean, yeah, but we could invite more people. I mean, I'm sure General Baldwin wouldn't mind having well, maybe he would. I don't know. I could probably convince Ari to have like some sort of like party here and we could have dancing and and you could play like some of your cool songs.
I think that's a wonderful idea. I think we could use some of that, honestly.
Do you think you could come up with like a list of like songs or just to sort of like set the atmosphere?
I can absolutely do that under one condition.
Okay.
You and I have a dance.
I would love that.
Aww.
Then I can start making a list of songs that I know. Maybe I can get Arca to play the bagpipes. Some of these songs will be really good for it.
Arca kind of like peeks his head in at first, and then he sees this whole scene of like a bunch of craft just like scattered across Tove's room. Like the floor is now difficult terrain from like all the blackberries. And like he fully opens the door and like he's like a mirror of like when Tove walked in at first, and like she just stared for 15 seconds.
Well, actually, first she'll glance over at Narcellus and kind of give him a look like, if you don't help me clean this up, it's gonna be bad news.
Gonna use those warhammers.
Yeah. No, she'll just sort of give him a look like, can you at least help clean this up a little bit? Before she sort of like looks over at Arca and says, actually, I'm glad you ended up coming over here, Arca, because there was something that I wanted to tell you about that I heard while we were in town today. I ran into somebody that I know, and he travels around a lot. He's constantly going from this place to that place, and so he tends to pick up little bits of information. And he mentioned something about the karst, and and her face kind of gets, I think, a little bit more solemn, not necessarily because she's worried about like what the information is, but because I think she doesn't really know how Ark is going to react to it.
Oh, the karst, Arca, like he's definitely a lot more intrigued by this conversation now, and paces a bit closer and says, "What's going on with the karst?" And then he kind of like sees Tove's like solemn expression, and then he kind of like seems to quiet and like go a little bit still and repeats himself. But what's going on with the karst?
Sulfur.
Tom will kind of look over at Arcellus.
He's just also putting things back in the bag of holding, while also going through everything to find tooth comb and stuff.
You know, that's fair. Before she turns back to Arca and she'll say, I don't really know a lot about the karst or well, I really don't know a lot, but something that my friend Stannis told me is he had just been there, and he said that there's something going on with Garuda and like the ceremonial blessings of like the youngest. I don't really know what all of it means, but he seemed a little bit concerned about it.
Arca's wings like snap back shut to be folded at his back, and he stares wide-eyed for a second and then says, "Did something happen to the Garuda?"
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And Toph just sort of like shakes her head a little bit, not like as an answer, but more as like, you know, I don't really know. But she says, Stannis told me that I don't know, there's something going on, and you know, the youngest are having issues with their ceremonial blessings, and so I mean, if the Garuda is involved in that, I imagine maybe there is something wrong. But
Arca. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Arca is very still for a few seconds, and then he just kind of quietly takes a seat at the foot of her bed, and despite like all the clutter, he like clears a space, I guess, and he remains in silence for a moment, like just taking in this news. And eventually he speaks up and he says, "When we have a coming of age ceremony where the Garuda blesses us with the gift of flight, and if he's not granting those blessings, then the young ones won't be able to fly anymore."
Will you? I mean, are you gonna have to go back, or? I mean, you're not gonna leave us, right?
Arca, like, he genuinely seems lost for a moment, and eventually he shakes his head and says, I'll at least stay long enough to finish our business here in Valgard, but if the young ones aren't getting their wings, then the karst home will be back in chaos. I don't know what the Owlin can do about this, but he kind of like rubs his hand over his forehead, and he just shakes his head and looks at Tove, but with like kind of like a look of resolve, and he says, I won't abandon you guys. We've been through a lot together, and at this point, it wouldn't feel right, but if home's in chaos, I'll need to go back there, though I don't know what difference I could make, but...
And Tove will... So Narshellis have something to say?
Yeah. Just kind of poke around, but yeah, but you're not gonna leave, right?
Like, leave you guys forever, you mean? Or of course not, but
Hey, kind of sensing the sad tension in the room, he'll kind of come and stand between Tove and Arca with the half-full bag of holding on his arm. And you hear it just kind of thunk against the ground as his arms move down. And he says, well, I was just playing with a little idea, if you guys are interested. Since you need to go back home, and Tove, you had said the other day that you want to do sheep adventures or something.
It wasn't sheep.
Let me finish. I was just talking to Taffy about maybe starting a guild.
starting a guild? What about?
I mean, I don't know what it would do, and I don't know what it'd be called, and I don't know how to run one, and I don't even know what guilds really do. But it would give us an opportunity to stay together and be at least sort of financially responsible.
Sort of. Arca considers it, and he says, well, I'm not part of any guilds at all, so I would be able to join one, I suppose. It doesn't sound like you've planned very far, but I would...
Well, we were considering racing airships to try to beat you when you're flying.
I don't think you can make a whole guild out of just racing, Arca.
Oh, watch me.
Well,
Challenge accepted.
Arca's pretty good at, fighting. And me and Yavari can light stuff on fire. Yulia can... He pauses. He has to think about it. Yulia can hit things with a heart. Taffy has well, he has the padlock guild, but push come to shove, he can throw rocks at people.
You can throw rocks at people. Yeah, that's all good. I'll just beat him over the head.
Tove, you have your war hammers. Maybe we could do something like that time we fought that Chimera, or something.
Like adventurers for hire?
Sure.
Awesome. So yeah, then you all settle in for the night to get some rest to prepare for the day tomorrow.
Yes.
Everyone settles into their respective rooms. Close your eyes, and eventually sleep will find you all. But perhaps not peaceful for some of you.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't like what you're insinuating.
What you're insinuating?
Happy.
Ah! Guys, the elephants are back.
They're coming to haunt my every dream.
Yeah, really? Okay. So Taffy, as your eyes close shut as you settle in for sleep with in the same room as Arca and Narcellis, and you drift off, peacefully at first before your eyes open and you find yourself submerged in water.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
You can't see really anything else around you other than just water that goes on as far as your eyes can see. You swim up towards the surface. You can see the water is reflecting the light high above you. You swim, and eventually breach it. And out before you, you see the city of Abydos. It seems as you come through the water's surface where you thought it was daytime, it is instead night, with a full moon hanging far above you in the sky. It's rather clear, so you can see all of the stars twinkling with it. Yet in the distance, beyond the city's walls, you see a large red dust cloud looming in the horizon, suggesting an impending sandstorm. What does Taffy do?
I've got agency in my dream now. Uh-oh.
Yeah. You do. Oh. You do this time.
First, he doesn't really want to be in the ocean, so he's going to swim towards the city.
Okay. Very well. So you swim towards it, and you swim over towards the shore, and you pull yourself up, shake yourself out, and as you start to head towards the city, the sand at your feet suddenly feels like it's pulling at your paws as you try to move forward, and every step becomes more and more difficult before you find yourself, as you take another step, you're sinking into like your shins at this point.
Uh-oh.
As you try to keep going.
Oh.
And as you continue onwards, you continue to sink into what has now become mud. And looking over towards Abydos, trying so hard to reach towards it, you see now you have come face to face with a giant hairless cat that is looking down at you.
Oh.
This cat has, black wrinkled skin and glowing golden eyes. And its ears are covered in jewels that shimmer and shine with like every color that you can imagine. And before you can say anything or do anything, you hear her voice speak up.
Why do you not answer me?
Oh God.
That scared the shit out of me! What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Nice.
Was not expecting that.
Oh. So, I guess do I still have agency? Like.
Yeah, you're pretty much trapped in the mud at this point, but you can still speak or think for yourself, yes.
He's gonna... Okay, as first of all, does he recognize this as any of the gods in Akhet?
You do hold on.
Is it
yes, so you looking upon this, being a tabaxi yourself, you recognize this as a form known to Neferu. Neferu is often depicted as either a four-armed woman or a cat, specifically a hairless cat, usually with gems on her ears and forehead.
Okay. So he he kind of he's terrified, by the way. He calls out and is like, Neferu, what did I do? He's like at a loss for words. What do you mean answer you? Answer you how?
Why have you forsaken me?
Uh-oh.
Lord. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Forsaken you? What do you mean?
And as you ask that, she gives no answer, as instead she leans towards you, and suddenly from out behind her shoulders comes a pair of human arms and hands.
Uh-oh.
And she wraps her hands around you to pull you free of the mud, only to bring you towards her, into her maw.
Oh God.
Oh my god.
You see the whites of her teeth that are as big as you are, and momentarily you hear a voice as you hear the darkness like surrounds you. You hear a voice shouting in the distance. Please make these dreams stop. And all of a sudden you awake with a start back in the Carangula state.
Oh my god.
Do I recognize that voice?
No. Unfortunately.
Oh, oh boy! gonna need to swing by a cat at some point. We need to go to Ambos.
So many places.
So many.
Oh. Okay, so is it like, do I wake up in the middle of the night or like?
We'll say it's probably the middle of the night, if not very, very early morning. Like if you were to look out the window, the sky is maybe just starting to turn light.
Okay.
Very, very early morning.
So he waits. He doesn't scream this time, but during his sleep, he basically just tore up the covers and the sheets with his claws.
Oh,
He like looks around. And it's like everything's just shredded. He's like,
oh no.
He's like panting and like ears are pressed flat and just he's like sprawled out on the bed, just like clawed into it, like gripped into it. Do you know anything about Neferu?
And Toph will kind of pick up at this and say, well, yeah, Neferu is one of the daughters of Idaldin, along with Hrist, and wait, my mind is blanking. Is Neferu part of the triad? Is my brain just like, did my brain just like break?
This is part of a
Yeah.
triad. Yeah.
She is. Okay. And she's like, they worship. There's actually like, there's a place of worship right in Valgard for her. I mean, I know she's pretty. She's sort of like mainly worshipped over in Akhet, but she's like sort of the goddess of like merchants and there for like women and children and
So he kind of raises his paw and is like, okay, all right. You've proven that you could you whittle up some small little Neferu statue for me?
Yeah, of course.
Just a little homesick, just get a little taste of home.
Yeah, no, of course. I will absolutely get something made for you.
Awesome. Could we do that before, just before tonight? Just not to rush you or anything.
No, yeah. I'm sure I can find some wood outside. There's a lot of trees, so
Awesome.
I can work on something after.
After
Hold the door garden.
Right?
It's just like Tova's just like hacking up the trees.
This is a whack.
It's just the second time that they've gone out to one of his trees to grab something.
He just
With
He just walks
future
out.
daughter-in-law.
I was
just
just
walks-
about to say.
he just walks
Thank
out and
you,
Tova has
Eliza.
an axe. She just has an axe, chopping away at a tree.
It's like, oh god.
No, Tova's like, I'll find some time today to make it for you.
Awesome. Most appreciate. Thank you. And he just kind of awkwardly goes back to eating breakfast.
Toph kind of looks like pretty happy with herself because like she's like, I'm solving a spiritual problem as she just eats her food.
Yeah, spiritual.
Yeah. Totally.
Totally.
I'll show this. Do you have a moment?
Oh god, what did I do?
What did I do?
But yes, he'll take Narshellis into another room, away from the rest of the party, out of earshot. And then he'll still keep his voice quiet as he says, "My mind hasn't changed about your magic use, but I would rather you have something than Nothing. He'll kind of just hold whatever he was holding in his hands out to Narcellus, and it looks like it's just a piece of like folded fabric. It's flat, you can't really tell what's in it. And then inside, you will find what appears to be a circlet. Not your mother's. But
oh boy, I got it back.
yeah, like here, take it back. No, it is not his mother's, but it is in fact another circlet that is made of probably made out of like a kind of brassy metal that God, how do I describe it? Whereas the gem on yours was red, surrounded by a spider. This gem is green with very small decorative like antlers on either side of it, and there's probably a couple other like beads along the strand of the circlet. It's a very simple design. And Baldwin will just say, figured I would get you something to replace it. Do you still have to focus?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Just for the sake of cleaning this up, and since no one else is around to watch me drown, what exactly am I to you?
Baldwin kind of looks at him for a long moment. You know, kind of contemplatively, really. His normally like very sharp features seem much gentler as he's been speaking with you, Narcellus, and as you ask this, he shifts, like you can see him shift his weight around. And after a very long moment, he finally will say, oh, I see you as a son.
And then Nars
Oh.
evaporated.
Yeah.
He opens his mouth a little bit, like he's going to speak, but doesn't. And yeah, he is absolutely evaporating.
Just
You hear like his mouth opens and the dial-up tone comes out.
Yeah.
But he pauses and his body sort of moves forward a little bit and then goes backward. And sort of lifting his hands up a tiny bit as though he's going to like gesticulate. It's very much like he may actually implode. Only because he can't speak.
Ceases to exist.
But he wants to. He looks at Falcon very seriously. And he has to ask a question. And he says it with this almost disbelief look. And like you can hear that his throat has tightened. So there's like this small like hitch in his breath, and he asks, "Do you want me here?"
And Baldwin really, without much hesitation, will say, yes.
I hate you so much.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And the partially glassy look goes to full-on Misty.
Oh.
And like the corners of his mouth pull back a little, and he's gritting his teeth. And in seconds, the gap between them has closed, and he has his arms under Baldwin's, and he is pressed against his chest.
Baldwin is like taken by surprise at first. As Nershellis just comes up and hugs him. Baldwin.exe has stopped working.
I love the two emotionally stunted characters.
Yeah.
Like, how do emotion?
And after a moment, though, he will wrap his arms around Nershellis to return the hug very gently.
He'll sit there for like 10 seconds. Probably a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll pull back, immediately reach up, wipe at his face, and say, "Thanks for the circle, I gotta go," and just leaves the room immediately.
Oh.
Well, Baldwin will just let him go.
Taffy's like, well, I mean, if everyone else is ready, I suppose we can get this show on the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Oh man, we're just in a great mental state to start this whole.
He's just sitting there with like his hand totally over the upper half of his face, like he's vaguely sniffly, like he's not having a good time. I mean, he's having a great time, but he's,
But he's not having a good time.
It's fine.
He's emotionally compromised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. So yeah, you guys will finish up your meal. Finish preparing yourselves in whatever way is necessary before you all head out of the Caranial estate and down the road to Duke Gibroth's manor.
The plan changed. I remember.
Yeah, we had a better inn.
Wait, okay. Did we stick the horns on Nershellis?
Yeah, he would have stuck them on his head. They are probably not the right color, but they're black, so they match Yavari's, and they'd be on like this little string, probably a red piece of string that he's got like tied under the back of his neck through his braids, and he does in fact look like a half tiefling.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Oh.
As you guys approach the Duke's manor, Taffy, you will spot a familiar face waiting for you guys not far away from his front door.
Oh no! Oh, which one? Which one is it?
It's Sam.
Okay, good. I like that one. That one
Yeah,
can
right?
stay.
That's a good one.
The girlfriend.
He immediately perks up. He's like, "Oh yeah, here we go."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She approaches the group. This, looks very much like a red husky woman. She has a rather large, like, black bag slung over one shoulder, and she smiles toothfully at you all with a wave as she approaches and says, "Oh, hello there, kitty cat. You ready?"
Oh man, I was born ready. Always ready for to make a sale. It's you and me. We'll talk to the Duke, and hopefully we can get our contractors here, as he mentions to the rest of the party, free access to the manor.
Absolutely, you and I are unstoppable.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yulia will lean over to Yavari, speaking in Hellish. How long do you think? How much do you want to bet, and how long until they get together?
Oh.
I give it a week,
A week?
maybe 3 days. You know.
I will give it 4 days and maybe a week and a half.
Yeah, maximum a week, minimum 3 days.
Oh my God.
2 pieces of gold.
You're on.
No one knows why they're shaking hands in agreement, but they
It's
are.
like, what's happening?
Mm-hmm. You open the door, and you guys are greeted by what appears to be a monkey folk person.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I had to change the token, but it's fine. This is what I'm using now. Just exists. She opens the door, and you can see she has like a brown leathery face with orange fur that covers the parts of her body that are not covered by her clothes, with like incredibly long arms at her sides. And she'll give a polite nod of her head as she looks nervously over the rather large group here at the door. She'll say, good morning. What can I help you all with today?
Good morning. My name is Taffy. I'm an agent from the Padlock Guild. I'm not sure if you've heard of us. We're new in town, and was wondering if the Lord was, the Duke was in his residence this morning.
Oh, he is, yes. He's having his morning tea. I'll see if he would like to speak with you. Please, if you would like to come inside, there's a seating area here where you all should fit.
Oh, but of course, thank you so much for your hospitality.
Of course. And she'll step aside to allow you all into the main kind of entrance of the manor here. The room is covered in a red and gold carpet, very Vanguard in style and color choice. There's a grand chandelier that hangs from the ceiling above a staircase that like splits at the bottom to lead upstairs to the second floor. The lighting in here seems to be all candles, compared to the last manor you all were in, which was powered by Anima. So you don't hear that deep, like, thrumming noise that you had heard in Pierpont's Manor. And indeed, at near the base of the staircase, excuse me, there is just a nice set of seating of some plush red couches and chairs, and the servant kind of gives a polite bow to you all as she says, "Give me just a few moments, and I shall go and see if the Lord is available to speak with." So you can kind of walk up the couple of stairs that leads up to a door, which will open as you push on it. And peeking through, you see it leads into a hallway. It goes down straight ahead before making a left turn. And it also goes to the left where, if you peek far enough, you can see there's someone standing at the end of that hallway, seeming to be standing in front of what appears to be a door behind him. It's a little hard to tell. And then to your immediate right is another door currently shut.
Yavari makes a note of this and just quietly slips back into the group.
Excellent. And as you all kind of make yourselves familiar with this room in particular, the servant comes back in as she will kind of address you all and say, Duke Broth will see you all if you'd like to follow me into the other room.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. And Taffy will kind of lead the way. Also kind of like making sure that Samoya is like also next to him.
And she is, like, she's following along beside him.
Okay.
Awesome. Then the servant will kind of lead you guys out into this little hallway here. And then I'm going to all this, and she will lead you immediately to the left to another doorway, which she will open for you all. So I'll clear out the room. So I'll say Taffy's gonna head inside. So would you all like to come on in? And you enter into the space, and it's a much more open. It's another open room, much like you had come into, but more cozy and kind of closed off, as this is meant to be a more maybe like nicer seating area. There's a couple of tables along the walls. You see over by a currently roaring fireplace is a piano, which currently sits unoccupied. And in the center of the room, sitting upon one of the couches, holding a teacup and saucer in his claws, is a red dragonborn, dressed in like a golden red robe with a belt across his waist. And as you all enter, he looks up with sharp amber eyes as he takes you all in with no particular expression on his face. As he says, "I'm told the Padlock Guild wish to come in and speak with me."
Oh, but of course. Hello, good morning, your Duke Yorsire. Very sorry to possibly pester you so early in the morning. But we were in town. I am an agent of the Padlock Guild, and as we do, we take security very seriously here within our guild. Now we don't really have a guild office here, so I'm going out scoping around, providing security services to those who may not quite have them yet outside of our headquarters in Abdos. And I noticed that the noble district up here doesn't seem to be as secure as the Padlock Guild would deem necessary. Surely a man such as yourself, as long as the other noble dukes and lords in the area would like to keep their valuables safe. Now, as I understand it, the Gnomeland Security Guild is here, and let's just say, while our guilds don't see quite eye to eye, we do happen to take security just a little bit more seriously than they do. And so I just was stopping by and was wondering if you might be interested in bringing your security services up to a more, let's call it, a quality of standard.
And as you speak, the Duke just is kind of looking rather disinterested so far, as he says, "If you insist, although I will say I already have commissioned the Gnomeland Security Guild to ensure the protection of my home, so I cannot really make any guarantees."
Oh, but of course, allow me to, if I may be so bold, while, I'm not going to say anything that may or may not be true about the Gnomeland Securities Guild, they seem to rely more on a magical sort of protection, and, magic does have some flaws in it. Any rogue or thief or ne'er-do-well, who knows what they're doing? And let's be real here, if someone is after you and your riches, they would most definitely know what they're doing. It can be circumvented, and might I say that their Gnomeland Security doesn't quite keep their secrets secret, if you know my meaning. In fact, rumor, I'm afraid, is already circulating about a couple of problems in their magical security systems. I might also bring up that given the current state of affairs in Valgard, what with the whole situation revolving around the king, it may be a little bit more wise to rely on something a little bit more physical. I mean, if the king is already having issues with people, and the king and the queen having issues with people entering unsolicited, let's put it, perhaps it is a little bit more, some more stock should be taken into keeping yourself secure.
And as soon as you mention the king, you can see the Duke immediately tense up. As he very carefully sets his teacup down. And he'll say, "So, you judge, you doubt my character." God, I'm getting so tongue-tied, sorry. So what, are you here to doubt my dead brother's judge of character?
No, his judge of character? Not at all. I'm certain that he has more kingly duties to deal with other than worrying about who enters his castle. I'm sure that's what the guard is for, but if the guard don't take their security seriously, then, you know, who's to say that... let me put it this way. If someone is able to break into the king's castle, then it incentivizes other rogues that sends a message, tells them that, well, it's, you know, Valgard's an easy mark, and that it's nobles and leadership are easily robbed. Let's put it that way.
Taffy.
And he turns around.
Nurshellus will very carefully step up toward Taffy, and he will adopt a completely different demeanor than what he's used to, in that he has a very respectful look on his face and he's folded his hands behind him. He'll look at Duke Uazir and say, "If I may, Duke Uazir, Your Highness, I feel it's only appropriate that I should let you know, as my contemporary has said, we are aware of No Man Security's glyphs, as they use magical glyphs that are used as wards to protect the homes and properties of their clientele. However, to someone such as myself, if someone like myself were to take an interest in, say, coming into your home, poking around where noses shouldn't be, for lack of a better word, I would need you to know that anyone who is well versed in how magic circles work would be very easily able to dismantle them. For example, upon coming inside of your home, I was able to immediately detect that your front foyer had no defenses at all.
The Duke sighs.
Sort of gives Taffy a...
It did what?
He's just kind of giving Taffy
A look? Okay. Taffy still got his smile on. I was like, as my contractor says, there could be improvements made.
Vast improvements, in fact. And if it is magic that you want, well, I would be happy to exercise some of the new policies that the Pilot Guild has not yet enacted, but has been considering. And he'll look at Taffy for a minute and say, as well as, if you'd like to keep what No Man Security has, I would be more than happy then to simply check it over to make sure that it's functioning properly, since I am able to locate these things.
And the Duke looks at you, Nurshellus. He's giving you a look. You know this look.
You know this look?
And, like, he's looking really suspicious, but you know, he looks at the horns, looks at your face, looks over at Taffy. He's like...
Taffy just raises, he's still got the smile on, he raises an eyebrow and just he kind of like makes a motion. It's like, I mean, it's not wrong.
Well, if you can prove to me that your padlock security is so far superior, then perhaps I shall be interested.
But of course, he motions over to Samoya. We've brought in several of our patented and tried and proven equipment over for you to peruse, and of course I can explain how all of it works. While we're doing that, though, would it be possible for my contractors here to go ahead and peruse the place to, get a quote, check to make sure everything's still working, basically come back with a list of improvements that can be made?
Very well. Fine.
Most excellent, most excellent. And then he turns around and he nods to basically Yulia, Arca, Nars, Yavari, and Tove. And then, spins back around and motions for, well, he actually kind of steps up and is like, may we take a seat? We do have quite a lot to cover.
And Sam will kind of step up with you as well, just looking equal parts, just nervous and kind of excited. The Duke will gesture to the couch, across from his, with a nod of his head. And, Sam will go around the couch to set the bag down upon the table as she will begin to take a few things out to show him with Taffy all of what the Padlock Guild has to offer. In the meantime, for the rest of the party, it seems the Duke has given you clearance to wander the rest of his manor. So,
Michelle's just gonna step out of the room.
Yeah. Tub is going to very quickly follow him.
Oh boy.
Okay, it's okay. It's gonna be fine.
He's so nosy, so
It's okay. He doesn't.
Oh
it's
my
okay.
god.
Play it cool.
We're just going to like, we're away from him now. Nobody else knows. So if we just find the things that we're looking for, then we can go. Yep.
Just keep your voices down. So,
Okay, yeah.
Don't make eye contact.
I need to go. We should split up. I need to go find one of these walls and quote break it. Tove, you should come with me because you have the bag for me. So, does anyone need anything out of this bag before we go?
No, I'm okay.
Yeah, I don't think I need anything from in there.
Marcella's
Me neither.
reach in and grab one of his sabers and fasten it to his waist underneath his coat, kind of keeping it out of view. And he's like, okay. Alright, so who's going with you? I'm taking Tove. Well, there's an odd number of us. So Arca, why don't you pick?
Okay, I can go with Yulia.
I'm not as proficient in magic as Yuvari and Archelis or Tove, but I think I have a grasp on like how I can at least identify if one is in the room. So it would probably do us good to stick together.
Well, that works.
Yavari will join Arca. And
Marcellus is gonna nod at that.
Okay.
It's probably for the best if we have.
herself.
Yeah, if we have Yavari and Marcellus on opposite teams, it's probably a good idea.
Spread out the magic users.
Yeah, exactly.
For Scorching Ray Blood, it will be a spell being used this time.
Oh no. Alright. Yeah, we've got Marcellus and Tove along with Arca, Yavari, and Yulia. So we'll start with Marcellus and Tove. Where would you guys like to go in this manner?
I guess the question is, where can we go in this manner?
Yeah, that's
I mean, the hallway you're in at the moment.
Mm.
There's the door you came in from that leads back to the foyer. Down the hallway, it goes and then makes a right turn or there is a left turn there ahead of you. You can kind of like hear there's probably someone shifting around over here, but you can't immediately see someone there.
Actually, I think if Tove's okay with it, Narcellis would probably grab her wrist. I'm sorry, he always does this. And kind
Okay.
of drag her toward the staircase
Oh, yeah, that's fine. She's gonna follow it.
because he wants to immediately go to where the goodies are, essentially.
Okay. So like the main staircase up to the second floor?
Yep.
Okay. Absolutely. So yeah, you drag Tove with you as you guys go to the staircase and head upstairs. Just move y'all up here. Whee! Look, it's Narcellis.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh, wait. Oh, hold on. I gotta fix it first. Give me 1 second. The squares are too big.
Your spoon is too big.
There you go. And then I guess whatever direction you guys would like to go. There's left or right.
Tove, you pick.
Oh, I wonder. Let's go right.
Okay.
Right seems good.
Very well, you go to the right. You can either kind of continue circling around. You see as you come upstairs, there's kind of like a big balcony area that overlooks the seating area that you guys had walked into when you first entered the manor. To the right, there is a small doorway here on the left, or you see there is another one further towards the front of the manor.
Ooh. Okay, Narcellis, you pick.
Going up to this door here.
Mhm.
Stepping through this threshold, can he feel anything either left or right of him? Or should I make a check?
Give me an Arcana check.
Oh boy, I'm gonna fail this. I just know.
Oh,
Time for some failing. Oh.
Can Tove give him a help action?
Can I also use my Anima shard?
Oh my god.
Wait,
Look,
if you're
unless
gonna
we're
use-
assassinating the Duke, I don't need it.
Okay, if you're gonna use the Anima shard, Tove will hold out on the help action.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, so go ahead and give me an Arcana roll with advantage.
Oh,
So
man.
roll 2 13s.
Yay!
You're kind of getting a sense because as you walk through the house, you still have that overwhelming, or not overwhelming, but overall general feeling of the ward placed upon the house. But as you try to focus a little more to try and see if you can pinpoint where some of these glyphs have been placed, you feel you get a feeling from like the right. That's the best I can offer you.
Okay. He will motion Tove to go to the right. I think he's going to go down this hallway here.
Okay.
And I would like him to actually see, is this door locked?
Yeah, if you go up to it, the door does not budge.
He'll just sort of turn and look at Tove, and he's like, I don't suppose you have any, abilities that can unlock a door.
I don't think so. The only thing I have is like thaumaturgy, which I think opens things that are already open.
Well, that's useful.
I mean, I could smash it with my warhammer, but I don't think that's going to be particularly helpful.
Just blame it on no security.
You know what? You know what?
Exactly.
Hang on. So, reaching up with his hand and placing it on the door, can he try to sense through the wood?
Sure, like
for any sort of protective ward.
Yeah, so you take a moment, you focus, you reach out into the anima that kind of permeates everything around you. But you don't get any sort of really particular sense from this room.
Okay. So he'll step back and he'll look toward Tove and he's like, alright, we better head back up. It's not in here. Why don't you try picking one?
Oh, what was that last part?
Why don't you try picking a room?
Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, there's like the doorway right.
Okay.
By the way,
Like a doorway here.
while we're in here, it might be best if you refer to me as Shellis, since Shellis is a very drow name.
Okay. I can do that.
Thanks.
There's like a doorway
Okay.
there. There's like one
Yeah.
back here.
Could Toph go ahead and try and like see if this doorway is locked? I can move my token.
Yeah, you go up to it, and this one is locked as well.
Ugh, damn it.
Are the hinges visible?
No.
There are no hinges on this door.
Well, you can't see them from that side.
Okay, so what does the doorknob look like?
Probably metal, I assume.
Is it,
It looks
is it
a
like
little
a
rusty.
round doorknob?
Yeah, it looks a little rusty.
Okay. So?
Hmm?
So he's gonna hold out his hand, he's gonna say, Toe, I need your dagger.
Okay. And she's gonna take her dagger and give it to him.
And he'll step up to the door here and say, do me a favor and watch down that hallway. And stepping up to the door, he's going to try to put the tip of this little dagger into the screws that are holding the doorknob on.
Oh my god.
And he's going to start turning it to try to
Unscrewing the
unscrew it.
doorknob.
Unscrew the doorknob.
All right. As you work on that, back downstairs, which oh god,
They're back.
no, they don't exist.
No, they don't exist.
Wow.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. So Arca, Yavari, and Yulia, Narcellis, and Tove have vanished off back into the foyer, which leaves you guys here in the hallway. So where would you like to go?
Who wants the responsibility of picking our destination then?
I will pick randomly if you let me. This is a threat.
This is a threat.
This is a threat. Yavari is going to speak up and say, well, while we were waiting on seeing the Duke, I took a look down that hallway that was on the right of us. Looks like there's only one person guarding the hallway, but since we have full clearance, might as well take advantage of it.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, I'm fine with starting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, cool. Yavari's gonna start walking across the hallway towards this little hallway here.
Alright. Yeah, you go walk over there. You come into the hallway, and again now, as you look to the left, you see at the end of the hallway is silver-feathered Aarakocra wearing like half-plate armor as he stands at attention in front of a doorway. He sees you all, but doesn't really make any sort of acknowledging movements or anything.
should we all stick together while we explore this side of the wing, or would that be a little too suspicious?
Hmm. I guess we could fan out and no, I think let's stick together because we only have we don't have too many people no magic.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, let's just say we're all if anyone asks questions, we're our specialties are in different areas, so we all need to work as a team.
We all need to be present.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Okay.
Very good. Yeah. So, do you approach the guard? Do you continue down the hallway?
What do you want to do, Yulia and Arca?
I don't know. Let's pick a room and search for clues, gang. I'm sorry.
Doopy-doopy-doo. Where are you? Then let's go to this room with right here. Just to do
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, you walk up to the door. Are you just gonna try and push your way inside?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you push open the door. Surprisingly not locked. And you enter into a much smaller kind of comfortable room than before. But as you walk in, you are greeted with more taxidermy.
Oh,
As you see
okay.
upon the carpet, nothing humanoid, thankfully. But you see there is like a bearskin rug upon the floor. There's a shelf to your immediate right as you guys come in that has turtle upon it, apparently. And then a statue sitting on the floor a little ways further ahead of it of what appears to be some sort of canine creature. You're not entirely sure what it is. Yeah, it's just a very small room with a couple of chairs facing the fireplace.
Oh. You're always gonna look at all this taxidermy and decor and go, why is it always the rich ones with the most money? The most terrible taste.
No,
But
either.
why is this stuff like all secure? Not even secure. All unsecured. No locks on the door. Too much trust in this town. Too much.
That's exactly what I'm saying. They don't have their stuff secure.
Yeah, Arca's gonna lean. Oh, sorry.
Julius is gonna comment. With this many dead things, feels like I'm being watched. It's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand. It's always the rich freaks doing this. And he leans down to look at the bear pelt on the ground, and he says he goes on I would understand maybe if it looked like he was a hunter at all, but I guarantee that man has not hunted a damn thing in his life.
Damn. The shade.
The shade.
But so as Arca's looking at the bear rug, can Yulia investigate it? See if there's anything hidden underneath it?
Sure, make an investigation check for me.
Okay.
Oh, T.
I've seen too many old investigation movies where there's always the bear rug hiding something.
Dang.
A trap door.
A trap
Oh,
door.
damn.
Baby.
Oh.
Nice.
So as you kneel down to investigate the bear rug some more, and you push it aside, trying to look or lift it up, look under it, see if you can find something. You're not sure you catch anything at first, but after a moment, you almost kind of notice what appears to be like a seam in the rug itself underneath the bear rug.
This has to be a joke.
What?
They get it on their first try. This is great.
Roll the 19. What do you want?
Listen,
Walks directly into a room, just kneels down, pulls out the smoking gun.
listen,
Yes.
Yulia is a descendant of Sherlock Holmes.
So true.
Yeah, so true, bestie.
On a 19. On a fucking 19.
It was Colonel Mustard in the taxidermy room with the gun.
Julia told us to make you so many pies.
Oh,
I can't
I
believe
Any
knew,
pie.
Good job.
I knew putting my skill in investigation would come in handy one of these days, and
Dang.
I was right.
I don't need to be concerned about Ruska. I need to be concerned about Yulia.
yeah, really?
Yeah.
So, anyways, about the seam under the bear.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's maybe like a few inches long that you notice. What would you
Cut
want?
it open.
offers Yulia her dagger.
Cut it open. Cut it open.
Cut it
You-
open.
Yulia just pulls out their dagger and just starts gently like plucking at the seams so that they can get it loose.
All right, and you begin to do that. And as you start to kind of pry it open, you see that that's kind of one side of this panel that can lift up, as you see like a couple of their seams make themselves more visible as you begin to pry it up. You struggle at first, like it's maybe jammed or stuck on something. And as you finally manage to pry it open, you see on the bottom of it, for a brief moment, you see what looked to be a flash of something blue, but it vanishes as quick as you see it.
What?
What?
Ooh.
Nothing's there now. You have no idea.
Oh.
Yeah, you now have this. You now have opened this small hole in the floor. It's like really only a few inches wide, just enough to maybe like put something in there to hide. And it's a little hard to see with the dim light of the room that you're in, but you can kind of make out there appears to be like some papers and maybe like a bag of something in here at a first glance.
Oh.
They're kind of like stunned by this blue light and kind of concerned, and they kind of glance up at Yavari is like, "Did you sense anything with that? Should I be concerned?"
Yavari is actually going to cast Detect Magic on the bear rug. Just to
On the
make
bear
sure-
rug.
You know, where the glyph appeared, you know, and disappeared.
Mhm. You
So we're gonna do that. We're gonna cast it. This is a simple level 1.
okay?
And do you need me to put it in chat real quick?
No, you're good. I happened to pull up your character chat.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All good.
Did it anyway?
Yeah, so you cast Detect Magic upon the bare rug, or just in general, I guess. And here, I just gotta measure something here. You don't sense anything in this room, but you do get the sense of something magical nearby. Perhaps in the next room over. Kind of the sense you're getting. But as you guys are sitting there, trying to now deal with whatever the hell just happened, you do hear footsteps coming down the hallway.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What are you going to do?
Somebody block the door.
I got this.
Oh, Yuli's got. Okay.
Wait,
Oh, are they still approaching?
Oh, they are.
Yes, they are approaching the door.
Okay. All right. They'll just be like, all right. Nobody panic. This is part of the job. We uncovered something that clearly wants to be hidden, and we found it. So this is great to report back to them and be like, hey, you're now unsafe, because if we can find this, someone else can. It's fine.
Okay.
Make sure you sell it real well.
I got this.
You sure Anima shard on those persuasion checks.
Yeah.
Listen, if you can keep them talking and distracted, maybe one of us can slip by and go into the next room, because I am certain there is something in there that has magic, and I will figure it out. If
We left y'all
do.
alone for 5 minutes.
We're going to jail.
And quickly, without looking, Yulia will just grab the papers and the bag and roll up the papers, look at Arca, and be like, hide these in your wings or something. Make sure they don't see it.
Make sure they can't find it if they frisk at you.
And then just replace the carpet cover.
Yeah. Okay. Arca like stuffs it like down his shirt at his back. Like ruffles his feathers a little bit, so like maybe on inspection it like won't be seen, and then hurries to cover up the bear rug again.
And then real quickly also, hold on, let me go ahead. I'm gonna put a spell in the chat that Yulia has and see if they can actually use it on. There we go. To use this to basically repair the seam in the rug that they just cut open.
Ooh, very nice.
Well, I'll say you didn't really cut anything open. It's more just you forced up the panel.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, you can just close it back down.
Oh,
Just
okay. Yeah.
mend the panel so that it like fuses into the floor and they can't get it open.
I mean, that will work.
Oh my god.
That no land security shit is real bad. Man, that's what happens when you rely on magic. Your trapdoors fuse into the floor.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great excuse. Okay. So they'll use mending to make sure that they can't get into this part of the rug anymore. And they'll just make up an excuse that says, I don't know what I activated, but when I dropped this part of the rug, it just kind of fixed itself. Perfect.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So as you all are preparing for the likely guards that are about to come marching into the room, trying to get your story straight, that is where we are going to wrap up the session for the night.
Oh my god.